The views and opinions expressed on the Craig L. Hayes Show do not necessarily reflect those of Westgate Resorts ownership or management. And now, on with the show.
Extra, extra, read all about it. Get your copies while they last. Stop the presses.
And now for something completely different.
Are you ready for a little truth? Are we not entertained? Wisdom is the proper use of knowledge and experience. There are no safe spaces here. The truth shall make you free. It's showtime! So you want the truth, but can you handle the truth? Well, here's another fine mess you've gotten us into. Now that's entertainment. Enlighten me a little. What you say is quite logical. And what did we learn? Prepare yourself for a little sensory overload. I came here for the truth. 7 years ago, stand by the roll show intro. Roll show intro in 3, 2, 1, go.
This is the Craig L. Hayes Show.
Hello, America, family, friends, and listeners all around this planet we call home. This is the Craig L. Hayes Show, and I am Craig L. Hayes. Today is the 17th of December, 2024, and we're continuing on our broadcast here from the Westgate Resort in the International Showroom and from Elvis Presley's former dressing room. We've been given this privilege by the president of this hotel, Cammie Christensen, and Don Rawls, the vice president of entertainment and marketing, and John Peer, the entertainment director and technical director. They allow us to do this show from here, and I want to thank them again for letting us do this at such a awesome place to do this show from. And I'm so glad that they gave me the opportunity. Today we're going to continue on our interview series with people in show business, and we're going to go about it with a guy that's been in some show business and been all around the country, toured with some big acts that are out there. He has worked in some major venues around this country, and I heard he even knows how to play a little basketball. I'm not quite sure, but heard a rumor to that effect. But I'm so glad to have him here. He used to work here at the International Showroom years ago as the head audio, and he is Mr. Audio as far as I'm concerned. And so glad to have him here. His name is Mark Swift. Mark, welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning.
So I'm going to take and pester you on this show a little bit, and we're going to do a little bit of background on you. And if you take a minute, just tell us a little bit about your past and, where you came from, and just take a few minutes, and so we kind of see a lot of it is people all think the people work in show businesses in these hotels, we're all like, I don't know, created or something in some kind of incubator system that works in these hotels or something. But, truth is, people come from all over the country or all over the world and work in show business in this town. So that's what we're just letting everybody know, that, there's a big variety of people that are from all over the place. So if you'd tell us a little bit where you come from, and just say I started off here, and ended up here. So
Basically, but was born in Alamogordo, New Mexico. We didn't stay there very long. Dad was in the Air Force and moved to Michigan, quite early. I was still a baby when that happened. And did the normal school thing for a while, but then I happened to have a lady that watched us when my brother and I were young that worked at the Grand Rapids Civic Theater. So got exposed to theater when I was probably 10.
Oh, pretty young, good.
And started going to the theater at that time. And also at the school I went to had offered the elementary school offered in 5th and 6th grade had a theater program that I was also got involved in at the same time. And we would leave school every Thursday or so and go to the Civic Theater and have theater classes every Thursday afternoon, every week for most of the school year.
Oh, okay.
So pretty much grew up in theater and stuff. And the day that they were doing when we all had to put on the pancake makeup was the day I decided that I don't think I'll be doing that acting stuff. That stuff, once you get that stuff in your mouth, it's a definite deterrent. For me, it was anyway. And so I decided I started in more of the technical side at that point, and still just doing different things at the theater all the way into high school, and then realized that audio was like, hey, this is fun, and was always like, I don't know, I would find old equipment and bring it home and put it on my desk and look at it for a bit, fix what I thought was wrong, and it would work. So that kind of started to happen a lot. And then I decided, well, maybe I should go to school and figure out that maybe I should I could learn what's on the inside of these things. So I did that too, for electronics engineering kind of stuff. And went right to work from that to, I actually got involved with actually I should backtrack a minute. I went to, Grand Rapids had a festival where I lived in Grand Rapids, Michigan at the time. I went to high school, and there was an arts festival every year. And Amway Corporation had happened to be in town. Was one of the guys that I knew that worked there was the head audio media guy for the Amway Corporation, and he was the audio guy for the festival. So I started doing festivals when I was still in junior high, and I was the audio patch guy and all that stuff for the company out of Kentucky that worked those festivals, and so I did that every year, and kept going and going with that. And my sophomore year in high school, the guy that owned Mobile Sound, which was the company out of Kentucky at the time, decided maybe you should go with me. It was the summertime, in between, school break it was. So I went and did Pat Boone Family with him in Monroeville, Pennsylvania when I was 17, and that was kind of the beginning of my paid audio adventure from there. And went back to work, went to school for a while in Ohio, Columbus, Ohio Tech it was called at the time. I think it's a DeVry Institute now. And then moved from that to right straight to Mobile Sound, and went to work for Barbara Mandrell at the time. I think I was 19. And they were like, well, we need a monitor guy. And I was like, well, okay. And I had actually never done it before at that time, but
I say, you join a company at that age and go right to monitor engineer. Boy, phew.
well, I had been working for them pretty much, doing a lot of other stuff. But when I went to actually work for them, it kind of evolved into that, and it worked out real well. And it was came as felt like it was nearly natural. It was. I could do things other guys couldn't. In fact, one of the guys that owned Filmways Audio that I did that festival with, he came in every year and was one of the engineers on one of the stages, and told me back then, we were at a get-together afterwards, and I was still 17 or 18. He told me I'd be wasting my time. He goes, in my opinion, you'd be wasting your time if you went to school, because you know more than 3/4 of the guys that work for me that went to school. And I said, well, I should probably go anyway. But that was kind of it was like the light bulb went on. I thought, maybe I'm better at this than I think. And it just went, so I did work for Barbara Mandrell for a couple of years in the early 80s. It was probably 82, because I graduated in 80. And by the time I went to school I didn't go the whole term, because I went right to work. And so once that started, I've been doing this like I'm doing it now ever since.
Yeah, how was Barbara Mandrell to work with? She seems like she'd be like one of the nicest people.
She was great.
Yeah, she just seems like something about her. Just like you go, she's one of the good ones. She's one of the nice ones.
It was like hanging around with, kind of like Mom was around, and Not that she did that kind of stuff. It was just, it was felt, it was always comfortable. She was always nice to deal with.
Nice.
And,
She seems that way. Every time I've seen anything about her, it always seems like she's one of the good ones. And
so that's pretty much, that was the beginning of it. And then from there, same sound company I worked for, they lost Barbara's account for other unknown reasons. I don't remember what happened at the time. So I kind of evolved into, I moved over to Ronnie Millsap, and the only thing to do for that at the time was like drive the truck. And I thought, well, what the heck? I'm here. Might as well do that. I don't want to sit at home. So I drove the semi for Millsap's tour for the 84, part of 85, I think. And then Lee Greenwood fell into my lap at that point. I went out as the tech. And the monitor engineer got drunk one day and was playing drumsticks on the front of the boss's bus, and I don't think the boss liked that too much. And I replaced him that day.
what is it with some of these guys?
And I've been mixing ever since.
Oh, that's so cool, man.
And
You never got to mix with Ronnie Millsap, huh?
a little bit, but
Oh,
I used to laugh.
good.
I used to laugh because what I did with Ronnie Millsap was it was fun because I could sit back and watch and watch how he listened to things, being that he's blind and stuff.
Yeah.
Completely. I mean, 2 glass eyes, you can't. There's no chance. And so watching him listen and watching him pick things out and details that you had to take a minute to really go, oh wow. And so that helped me pay attention to details and things on how to layer things and how to make it so your ears can actually hear
Yeah.
the parts and the pieces and how they all fit.
Yeah, he's one of the guys I wish we would have had here at the hotel when I was working in show business, because to me, he would have been just one of the great ones. We had Jose, who's Feliciano, who was blind too, and man, he is a monster on guitar, man.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Yeah, Ronnie was amazing. And that was fun because I could just watch and listen and watch how he listened to things. And so I might as well use this opportunity to kind of do that. And it was funny because the guy that was in charge of the merch and whatever, TK was his name. He would always bug me. Now you pay attention. We might have to replace one of these boys. He'd tell me, and once every now and I didn't tell him that I could probably do it better than the boys he had working for him, but I didn't say anything.
yeah.
And just it was fun. I had a big Ford CL 9000, great big cab truck for myself, and it was interesting. But I kept thinking in the middle of the night, most of my friends are sleeping right now. Why am I still doing this?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to fly a plane from here, so there's no progression. So it got interesting at times.
So Ronnie, and then over to Lee Greenwood.
Yeah, I did that
How long did you do Lee Greenwood?
about 8 years, I think.
Wow, that's a pretty good run. Monitors the whole time or front of house?
I started doing monitors at first and then took over front of house too.
Nice.
Under the same evolution kind of thing. So,
So it's probably pretty cool that when you were working here, Lee Greenwood came here and did some shows, and it's like, oh, this seems like old times again.
well, that was pretty cool. And the funnest part, in fact, the monitor guy that I worked with Lee was in town last week doing George Strait and stuff at the stadium. So we went and had breakfast and stuff. And I forgot what I was going to tell you.
Something about sound and something meeting with Lee Greenwood and everything. So.
Oh yeah, right. Here we go. And the drummer and so I mixed. Lee was here when he played, so of course I said, well, I'll mix house. Why not? And they didn't bring a house guy, and so the funniest thing was his drummer's wife was sitting right in front of me at the console and turned around and went, "We've never sounded like this before," and I just smiled at her and I said, "Well, I think I know Mr. Greenwood quite well."
Yeah, I'd say after 8 years, gee.
And that was fun. And it makes it interesting. So I went from that to I did a stint with Sawyer Brown in the middle of that, and then went back to Lee Greenwood. So when they were here, Corey called me and he said, I said your name, and three of the whole stage full of guys turned their heads. And I was like, yeah, figured they would.
Because were they over at Hard Rock or something?
They were here.
Sawyer Brown?
Not long ago. Because Corey said he.
Oh, that's right. They were. Oh man, talk about brain fart on that stuff. I'm going.
Yeah, he called me that day or asked me a question for something, and he told me that once he mentioned my name, and three of everybody in the band turned their heads and went, "Where?" So, and I didn't get a chance to come over, but I did talk to one of them on the phone. I do believe.
That's cool. You know, you get close to these guys. I mean, you know, especially 8 years with Lee and stuff like that. And I think my favorite story that you've told me in the past was Lee Greenwood playing basketball with you.
Oh yeah.
And Lee's not a very big guy.
No, but his body was a little faster than his mind, so it was one of the little bit out of control, but not. And so it was one of the jobs I think I'd ever had where I could kind of didn't really do anything like. It was just we played basketball, so if you're going to come inside, I'm going to knock you around a little bit. So,
Oh, yeah.
And so we did.
Yeah. Well, you're not a little guy. What are you, 6'4", 5", somewhere in there? And
6'4", yeah.
yeah, you're a little bit taller than me. So yeah, you come in that anywhere in the paint, expect to get a little bit of
He went bruised a few times. It's like you don't necessarily want to do that to
No,
your
but you-
boss, but hey, I don't tell you how to sing. You stepped on a basketball court. I didn't see it was you. Pretty funny.
you get a little hip check, just boom, there you
Yeah,
go.
little body.
Come on in here.
Little bump there. Nothing big.
Yeah.
Nothing.
In the paint, we play contact. So
Steve Warner was always we'd play in the parking lots before Barbara Mandrell shows because he was the opening act back then, and he liked to play a lot. And I don't know. I think we were outside the venue in Austin, Minnesota, one time, and he were diving for balls. Him and his brother were completely nuts, and I'm like, you just jammed 3 of your fingers, and you're one of the best guitar players in the world. And how are you going to do that in 20 minutes? and he pulled it off. But I was like,
wow.
how did you do that? And he did. So I guess that, it takes the bad with the good or good with the bad, I guess, with that.
Well, you've played in probably like I did, and it was like you get on that court, and it's it's a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing goes on, nice and quiet. But you step on that paint,
It's a natural thing.
yeah,
It just happened. It was fun. I played my whole life, so I can't say that. And it was fun to continue to play some. When I ended up leaving Lee Greenwood it was about 1992. I'd gotten an offer from the Nashville Network, and so I thought, well, let me go explore this. So I ended up at the Nashville Network doing front of house for the Grand Ole Opry from 92 to about 99. Not knowing that was, growing up in Michigan, that would be an offer or a job that I'd ever even think I'd even have.
Oh yeah.
And I guess they grandfathered me in. I was as the boys told me, and became a country boy with them at that point. And it was fun. It was like working in the world's largest audio playground. It had everything you could ever want, and all the tools and all the parts and all the pieces. You just had to go pick what you wanted out of a room in the back. And between 3 or 4 studios, and being the Grand Ole Opry being actually a big studio, only has 4,000 seats in it. So you had plethora of stuff you could use for CMA awards at the time were done in there. So I mixed house for that for 10, 12 years with Patrick Baltzell next to me, and had a great time with him the whole time. And did house for all the broadcast shows that TNN did for most of that time. All the Music City Songwriter Awards, Music City News Awards, Music City, all the different ones, the different variations. And CMA 40 or 50, when one of the, I think it was the 50th I did, they're up to, and then I did the Grand Ole Opry 75th anniversary show, and now they're up to, I don't remember, it's 30 years past that, or more. So.
Well, you were saying about, I just want to go back just a little bit here. And you were talking about what you learned, from I just brain fart.
Ronnie Millsap.
Ronnie Millsap. What did you learn from Lee Greenwood? You know, how he went about his process of what he was listening for, and you know, because you know, when you're an audio guy, man, you almost have to be a clairvoyant with these guys.
Pretty
on
much.
some things, man.
He was probably the easiest
Okay.
because he had a cannon for a voice. So and he still does. Once you had him plenty of that, then as long as everything else was clean around him, he was happy most of the time. And I don't remember ever having to add a lot of things to his mix. And then cleaning up the rest of the stage and usually worked out pretty well. And it kept the volume at a nice level for everybody could hear everybody else. And it wasn't, you know, they weren't very needy as far as that goes. It was real simple.
Nice. So with him, he just basically, as long as he could hear himself and everything around him, he was pretty good, huh?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty straightforward. He didn't have any quirks or any, you know, the crew rode the bus with him, so if we had any problems, it was like right there. You know, you didn't have to wait till the next day or.
So he wasn't one of those, I ride a separate bus from everybody because, you know.
No, it was, we did have that for a while but then I think he cut down and back down to 2 buses. We had 3 for a while. With the crew, we had our own for quite a while, but it was an old Challenger that was quite old, and the only thing I miss about that was being able to cut the end out of the foot locker, so I had a longer bunk. So we did that because he owned the buses. So oh yeah, go ahead. So we did. But then we cut down to 2, and then his bus had 4, which were 7-foot bunks, which was kind of nice for the crew, extra wide and long. And early days of having a TV in your bunk too. Although it was I always feared about a crash because they were real TVs at the end, and you'd hit that if you were.
Yeah.
It was like, oh no.
Flying TVs or whatever,
It
yeah.
was strapped down, but oh no.
Did you like being on the bus, you know, doing the tours and just being stuck? You know, I hear it both ways from people. Some are like, oh, I don't mind the bus. And people are like, I hate being on the bus, you know, 10 hours a day.
Country at the time wasn't so bad. The first year with Barbara Mandrell was pretty bad because we left in like May and came back home in October. We did like 120 shows in 67 cities in 90 days or something like
Well,
that.
that's moving.
So that was a little rough. That was like the initiation period. That was my first tour. I'm like, oh, if this is going to be like this, I don't know. And after that, like with Lee Greenwood and Ronnie Millsap, it was more like weekends. So you'd go out, leave Thursday, go out and do, or leave Wednesday or Thursday, go out, do the weekend, and come back and be back on Monday, Tuesday, and do it again the next week. So you're never really gone that constantly. Like I did that this year with Donny Osmond. We did 49 cities, and we were pretty much stuck on the bus, even though at times we shouldn't have been, but we were. So it was a little tough. And you make the point of these buses are designed for good travel and stuff and comfortable travel, but they're not made to exactly live on.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to get off and into hotel rooms as much as when you can.
Yeah.
And some of those we didn't do that as much as we should have. The summer was a little tough.
Yeah. Because buses, I don't know if they have today, but I don't think back then, they don't have showers. They don't have all that fun stuff.
Not unless you got the Star Bus.
The Star Bus, you know.
They have them,
Oh, yeah.
but they don't have room for them on the 12 bunks ones and
Yeah.
the band they brought in. We were on this coach company called Beat the Street, and they came from originally in Europe, and they've brought some of their double deckers over, and the band had a 16 bunk double decker bus, but there's like a lounge upstairs above the driver with a great big bay window in the front, and then only a lounge downstairs. And that for that many people, that's kind of tough.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you need that hotel or you need some facilities. You can grab a shower or something, man. It's just like, whew.
yeah, the bus tours, they can have those. They're okay, but they hurt.
Yeah.
Say.
Yeah, I guess like with Ronnie Millsap, it'd be not too bad. You know, just do a weekend, hit a couple places, and go back home. But yeah, that's a lot. You said 49 cities with Donnie this last summer.
We had 49 shows and 49 cities. Yeah,
Wow. Yeah, that's moving.
especially for him, it's like yeah, he's a trooper. He worked hard. I've never seen anybody as busy as that man. So
Well, cool, man. Well, we're at we're just about at the end of the first episode, and we'll come back and talk a little more on how you got to Vegas. I know you've been to Vegas on a couple different shows with different people, but then you decided to come here and stay here, and that's where we're going to go next.
right on.
When we come back, and until then, Talbot, take it.
This is the Craig L. Hayes Show.
I was like, what am I going to talk about? I got too much to talk about.
Yeah, there's plenty to, once you get going, it can just go and go. And
It's